Good morning, Facebook. Here I am back in my office. Calm, calm. I wasn't here last week, so I've got lots of social media news for you this week. I was in London and it was really exciting. I went to a Sage Business Experts event and I learned loads. And one of the things I'm going to talk about today was something I was kind of persuaded to do as a result of being there. Hello, I can see someone's joined us. Hello, whoever you are. Welcome to Facebook Live Digital Coffee. I really have a cup of coffee this week. Let me know what you've got. And look at my very fancy mug. Isn't it fancy? Yep, I did. Hey, Jenny. Thank you. I almost went blonde yesterday for about 30 seconds. I thought about it and then I went, nope, I'm a redhead. So it does wash out to slightly less redhead after a while. So I have a cup of coffee. I hope you have something, Jenny, too. I can see we've got someone else joined us now as well. Just going to take a sip. Isn't the Friday coffee just the best coffee? Hey, Beatrice, thanks for joining. You know, I was thinking of you when I almost went blonde because I remember you used to be a redhead when I first met you. Okay, I hope you can see me all right because my little mobile light is saying no today. It needs a new battery. I'm kind of... You're drinking... Yes, Jenny, I see you're being ultra healthy at the moment. And you're making me feel very guilty, but never mind. I am dieting a little bit. I'm always dieting a little bit. Okay, right. What have I got going on here? We've got Allo. I'm going to talk about Allo, which is the new app from Google. It's a messaging app that's kind of interesting. We've got a ton of Facebook news. I'm not even going to tell you what it is because there's so much on here. The big news, of course, is I've been waiting for Snapchat to do something big. They're doing something big. And that image perfectly represents it. We've got some more Facebook news. I've got loads of things popping out of here. Lots more Facebook news. Lots of Twitter news. Look at all the arrows going on there. Everyone seems to be upping their game at the moment. And what's really interesting is everyone's looking to buy Twitter at the moment. I've heard some good things. I've heard that Google might buy it. And Beatrice, you know that we both anticipated that. I heard that Disney might buy it, which is interesting. And I heard that Salesforce might buy it, which I'm not so enthusiastic about. I'm not going to talk about that. That's just my little bit on it. I have a really cool tool to show you. One that actually saves you time or makes you more productive or helps with your work-life balance, whichever way you want to look at it. So I can see we've got 4 people online now. Let me know what you're drinking. Once again, it's coffee for me. I like this. Coffee. And we'll begin. Right, let's start off. I'll grab my iPad with all my notes on. Oh, and don't forget, Beatrice, I am drawing the winner of your book today, and I can see with Jenny online. Jenny's one of the people whose name is in this hat here. Okay, let's get on to the serious news. Let's start with Allo. This hopefully, when I say hopefully, you'll already be guessing that I'm enthusiastic about this, will be a symbol that we see lots of in the future. It's a new messaging app from Allo, and really it's a competitor for WhatsApp because it does a lot of WhatsApp does. And part of me's wondering, did they wait to release this until WhatsApp got into a bit of bother? Because if you remember 2 weeks ago, and our last Facebook Live, I was talking about... that's okay, Jenny, I'll let you know if you win. Good morning, Laura. Thanks for joining. Let me know what you're drinking. So this is interesting because you might remember a couple of weeks ago that WhatsApp decided that they were going to start sharing data with Facebook. It was such a big story, it even made the news. This week, German courts have said that this is wrong, and they're telling Facebook, or they're telling WhatsApp, they have to delete any data that they've gathered on people in Germany. And now I hear that the Irish Data Protection Office are doing the same thing. So it's going to be really interesting. It was around this time that Google launched Allo, their messaging app. And that's why I'm kind of going, did they have this in the wings and they were just waiting for WhatsApp to do something naughty? And that was it. Hey Sinead, do you like the hair? What do you think about blonde? Should I go blonde? It's a little bit too conventional for me, perhaps. Okay, right. So what is it a good app? Now, I have to say, I just downloaded it today. I downloaded it because I was at a Sage Business Experts event last week, and we were talking about it there, so I'm hoping to use it a lot. Now, the thing is that it doesn't matter that I don't have any contacts on it, because the killer feature, the thing that it does that WhatsApp doesn't do, is it has an inbuilt Allo Google Assistant. So this is like a chatbot. We've talked about chatbots here before. This is not a real person, a robot that will answer your questions. So you can say automatically when you let it go there, it will tell you some information, and you can ask it information. So it's a bit like a personal assistant. It's a bit like Siri, except you have to type it in rather than talking. I'm sure they'll have voice coming up. And that is a really good feature. I really like that. So even if I never connected with anyone, but I'm sure I will be connecting with people soon, I think it's worth having for that feature. It wouldn't take much, though, for Facebook to integrate something like that into WhatsApp. In fact, you can already, I believe, get chatbots. Maybe, I know Beatrice is online, and there's the Sage chatbot Peg. I'm not sure if that's available on WhatsApp, but I know that's going to be integrated. But at the moment, I think this is really cool. It does ask for your location. You don't have to give it your location, but obviously you're going to get better information from them if you do. And that's the scary bit, really. Because do you really want Google tracking you everywhere you go with your phone? Well, I said yes. I let it have my location, but I knew I was a sucker to do so. The other interesting thing is once it starts gathering this data about what we're doing and what we're searching for, that's going to be really valuable for Google search. We should get better Google search results as if we use this tool. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it progresses. I do like it so far. I like it a little bit more than WhatsApp so far, and I haven't even talked to anyone except for the chatbot. So that's interesting. Okay, on to the next story. And this is just some updates on Facebook ads. They seem to be working really, really hard to keep their product interesting and innovative, and it's getting better all the time. And probably because we're going to start seeing it getting a little bit more expensive, so they want to give us more as a result. So I've got three things. I've got the first thing is, the first thing that they look like they're going to be rolling out is that you can set ad conditions. Thanks for that. Peg is on Facebook Messenger and Slack. Okay, not on WhatsApp yet. I'm wondering, can you get chatbots on WhatsApp? I'm not a massive WhatsApper, so if anyone knows the answer to that, that'd be great. And I imagine if it's on Messenger and Slack, you will be looking at rolling out to Google Allo, because obviously that's going to be the big one. Apparently, this is new. Facebook's just told me I'm having a conversation starter, so woo! Does that mean I'm doing well? Okay, so the first bit of news is, as I said, you can set conditions for your ads. So what happens at the moment is you set up an ad set. Usually I let them run for a month, because you need a month really to see how they're doing. And then I'll review it and I'll see what I can change. Now, the conditions mean that if I've got a small audience and say it's shown everyone in that audience the ad 3 times already, I can make it switch off. I can make it switch off at that stage. And there's going to be a lot of other things that I can do that it'll automatically switch off. Now, I'm assuming they're going to send me a message when this happens so I can go and review the ads. I like this particularly for smaller audiences, because you do worry that the frequency will get a little bit too much and people just get annoyed with seeing your ads. I know I get annoyed seeing the same ads. Probably, I probably don't even see it the first time. The second time I might see it. By the time I've seen it 6 times, it's just annoying and I'm feeling bad about the company. So that's going to be a really good update, I think. The second one, now this one came into my newsfeed this morning on the John Loomer blog, and I'm going to link to all this stuff underneath, as I always do. But yesterday he briefly got the option to target people who had shared links to his website on Facebook. And that's going to be great. It's going to be great if you get a lot of shares from your website. I was thinking you only need 20 people to make an audience, but that 20 people will be a tiny, tiny audience to target. You're going to need to get a lot of shares. Now, I do get a lot of shares, but I'm wondering how many if that's going to be a significant audience for me. On the other hand, those people are brilliant people. These are my biggest fans. These are the people that are sharing my content. So advertising to them, I should get a really good return on investment. And as we know, Facebook is really focusing on sharing now. If you want to be successful with your page on Facebook, if you want to reach a lot of people, you're going to need shares. You're going to need people sharing your content. I think that's a really exciting development. Just came up this morning. He only had it briefly, so there's going to be lots more that we're going to see. And the third one, and this is really for big businesses, but I thought I'd mention it anyway, is dynamic ads for retail. So at the moment, if you have an online store, you can upload your product catalog and you can tell, it will tell people when an item's in stock, it will show it, and when it goes out of stock, it will disappear. It's kind of cool. I haven't managed to set it up for anyone yet because obviously you need to have a system integrated with it. Now they're bringing that to bricks and mortar retail. So if you have some sort of system in store that manages that, so obviously it's going to integrate with your point of sale, you'll be able to advertise to people what products you have in stock near them, and you're going to be able to show them where to go to buy it. So that's actually physically bringing people, it's not online shopping, it's bringing people back into the shop, which is kind of exciting because I think, real retailers have had a hard time recently with online shopping. This is a way that you can actually attract people into your shops. Obviously, you're going to need, some sort of point of sale, some sort of decent system in order to manage that, but it will be big, I think. The big story this week. Sinead, we were talking about this when I was in Dublin with the angle grinder right here on Facebook Live. We were talking about those augmented reality glasses that Snapchat are going to bring in. This is my picture. They're going to look kind of like that. Kind of hipster. They've officially announced them. And what the difference between, just in case you don't know, virtual reality is when you put on those big goggles and you're in a different world completely. Augmented reality just puts a layer on top of your existing world. And the biggest example we have of this is probably Google Glass. You remember those? They weren't that pretty. These aren't that pretty, but I can see where they're coming from. The problem, of course, with Google Glass was paranoia. I remember seeing Robert Scoble at the Dublin Web Summit and I was going, oh my God, is he filming me right now? Now, I didn't know enough about Google Glass. He couldn't have been filming me. The battery life wasn't good enough just to film random strangers. Most people didn't know that either. So people got very uncomfortable when they were around people wearing Google Glass. Snapchat are now bringing in their version of Google Glass. It doesn't do everything that Google Glass does, as far as I can see. Hey, Joanne. Yeah, I'm just stealing your hair idea. What do you think? So it's not going to do as much as Google Glass. As far as I can tell, it's only going to integrate with Snapchat. That's all it's going to do. The first thing is, hey, I can see the world through a filter. That's going to be nice because they're sunglasses. Hi, Naomi. I think I just saw your like. Thank you for that. They're shades. So already I have this really cool pair of shades. Well, when I say really cool, they were like £3 from Pennies. But when I put them on, kind of shines. Everything shines. So that's kind of nice. You don't think you'd ever wear them in public. Well, the thing is, they're not quite as intrusive as Google Glass. They kind of look like rubbishy hipster shades. What they're going to do is they're going to record 10-second snaps of video or photographs whenever you want to, which you can upload to Snapchat with Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. So that's what they're going to do. They create a circular video of, I think it's 115. Let me just check 115 degrees. But when you play it on a device, it plays full screen. So obviously you just choose the bit that you want to look at. Aside from it being interesting, it is kind of a GoPro competitor because the stuff they're showing you is people roller skating. They're not talking about somebody sitting in a coffee shop looking at people going by. So we'll see how that pans out. There's an interesting article from Mark Schaefer yesterday, if you check out his blog, about how he thinks this isn't good for Snapchat because they're diluting what they do. I guess we'll see. I'm going to be uncomfortable whenever I see anyone wearing these. That's all I know. Yes, I'd wear them myself for a bit of fun. Yes, it might bring me back to Snapchat because since the Instagram thing, I've really not been using it. But briefly, because I do think we're going to have the same problem we had with glass. Okay, I've got Facebook news. I've got Facebook at work news. I've got this, which is supposed to be a canvas. And I've got the statistics. I was going to ask you which one to go for. If you want me to talk about Facebook at work, type a W. If you want canvas, type a C. And if you want statistics, type an S. So W for work, C for canvas, S for stats. What would you like to know about Facebook? I've got a favourite. Just let's say I'm waiting for a W. The Snapchat glasses sound a bit gimmicky. I'd be shocked if they catch on. Yeah, absolutely, I agree. The thing is, they need to do lots of different styles because that style of glasses isn't going to suit everyone. And it was the same with Google Glass. I would have looked a Wally wearing those Google Glass, but at least I would have looked futuristic. These ones have a retro feel. Okay, I've got two W's, an S, a W. Okay, loads of you are giving me a W because that's my favourite one. Thank you so much. We are going to talk about them all. Facebook at work. This is going to be so interesting. Facebook have been talking about this for a long time now, that they're launching a product for people to use in the office. Now, you might say, that's bad because people are going to be surfing Facebook in the office. In fact, I've got loads of reasons I think it's bad. But it's also really good because I've had experience working with a company that was trying to integrate a customer employee social network, essentially, so that people could eliminate using emails so much, that people would actually be able to get to know each other better, be aware what was going on in the company. And it was a real struggle. And it was a struggle because people had to go and log on, they had to have a new login, they had to learn the technology, they had some of the things Facebook at work won't solve because people were worried about their bosses seeing what they were putting up there. Whatever we did, it was really hard to get it going. And I do think that Facebook at work will solve some of those problems. Because firstly, this is a problem and advantage. Firstly, people will be able to log in using their Facebook login. But it's a completely separate app to the main Facebook app. So people won't be able to click on your profile and suddenly they're on Facebook. It's completely separated. So all those companies with a firewall blocking Facebook, which we know is most of them, they'll still be able to operate this. It will be an app. So I think competitor-wise, it will be more like a Slack competition. If anyone uses Slack, I use it occasionally. So it will work for that. The advantage is that seamless integration that they'll be able to log in with their profile. Just checking I'm not missing anything here. Now, the downside is that we probably don't want people to be able to find us on Facebook just because they work with us. You may have this problem already. Do you want to become friends with your manager, your boss? Do you want them to see your public updates? Do you want them to see, because if they can follow you or see your public profile, they'll be able to see what you've liked. Do you want that? Do you perhaps, and I know this is against the rules, but do you perhaps have a different name on your Facebook account to you do in real life? If you do, that's going to present a problem. Until I've used it, I won't be 100% sure. You might be able to give yourself a new nickname for your Facebook account. I wouldn't be too comfortable with this. Well, actually, I'm becoming a little looser with who I friend on Facebook. I friend almost everyone now, but I didn't in the past, and I was very guarded about who I would become Facebook friends with. I would find it hard if my manager, this is why I don't have a manager, if my manager wanted to become friends with me on Facebook. At that stage, I wouldn't have been comfortable with that. But now they'll really easily be able to find me. I even have a different email for my Facebook than I do for like my business. It's going to be interesting to see. I do think it could take off as a social network more than any of those others because it's a seamless integration. They spent a long time working on it. There are issues with Slack. If they manage to address those, I think it could be cool. Right, I'm just going to look back. We had one S, one C, Okay, I'm going to go with stats next. Let's go with stats because stats are always interesting and they're always changing. And I have to show you my work of art for this. I can hardly see it here. Look at that. I'm kind of proud of my little graph there. So there's been some new Facebook stats related to Facebook for Business. Are there any men watching? If you're a man, wave or give me a like. Someone else has just joined us. Oh, we've got one like. Does that mean I have a man on board? Okay, now that's not unusual that there are so many, apart from, of course, I'm a woman. But it's not unusual for so many women to be interested in Facebook for Business. And the reason is there are 60 million Facebook business pages and 30% of those are owned by women. Actually, that means that 60% or 66%, 60% are owned by men. So I'm actually totally wrong there. More men own business pages, so only a third of us. But that's kind of still encouraging, I suppose, in a world where women aren't necessarily considered business people. 4 million active advertisers on Facebook. Now, why are these statistics significant? They're significant because 60 million business pages, that's a lot of competition. 40 million advertisers, that's a lot of competition. If there's that many people, we are going to start seeing the prices of the ads going up because we're all competing for the same audience, particularly in Ireland when we're such a small pool of people. At least if you're in the States where you've got that giant audience, you could maybe narrow it down to a better one. But we're going to have a lot of competition. We're fighting against big business and we're fighting against all those advertisers and all those Facebook page owners. So it's great news for Facebook. It means they're making money. Does that make me happy? It probably does make me happy, but it's not such good news for us as small businesses. The least interesting bit of Facebook news, but I just thought I'd throw it in there, is Canvas. This is supposed to be like, an easel. What do you think? I never make a good artist. So Canvas, I don't know if you've come across these. Some people think they're just the ads, but you can actually create them organically. When you're on your PC and you want to add a photo, if you click on the photo thing, you'll see the option for a canvas there. And what a canvas is it shows a small part of it, but when somebody clicks, it opens up and it fills the whole screen. And it's a bit like an instant article. You can add photos, videos, you can add text. So it's you can tell the story of your business. I've mostly seen them used in ads, and to be honest, they look a bit adsy. There was one, I think it was for the Dublin cycling campaign, or they did that big cycle in Dublin recently. And I felt, why would I click into this? It's not giving me anything. It's just trying to sell to me, even if it's just trying to get me to sign up. And it was well targeted. I am a cyclist, so, there was no issue there. There could be some really creative uses there. They would be a great way of telling a customer story or a tutorial or something like that. If you haven't managed to get instant articles up either, it's a good way to be able to tell that in a better way. I haven't tried them yet, and I must. They've just added, do organic canvas get good organic reach like video? Could be a good way to tell a story. I don't know the answer to that. I just need to create one and find out. Facebook Notes, I find, get a really bad organic reach, so it's going to be interesting to see how it compares. Now, the thing they've added on, which is why it's the smallest bit of news I have for Facebook, is now you can integrate 360-degree video. And before you think, oh, well, I can never do that, it's actually not that expensive to buy a 360 camera. You can get them for your phone and shoot some 360 video. Just if you're going to do that, be aware it's 360. So, it's like in this office, I have all the mess hidden over here, so you can't see it. And down here. You won't be able to do that with 360 video, but it could be something, if you're a bit of a gadget freak like me, could be something worth investing in. Right, what have I got for you next? I've got a ton of Twitter news. How am I doing for time? I'm almost out of time. Twitter news here. I've got 3 bits of news. The first bit is that, interestingly, Twitter are trying to get people to vote in the States. If you go to @GOV, and if you are in the States, which is the middle of the night now, so you're probably not, you can send them a direct message with your zip code, and it will send you the information on how to register to vote with a link, which is kind of cool. It's kind of cool because obviously, you know, people want a lot of people to register to vote. Voter numbers are always low. Better turnout is better for one candidate or the other. We'll just have to wait and see how that pans out. That's an interesting one. I'm wondering, does this herald a future where we're going to be able to vote with a tweet? Which would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? The second bit of Twitter news is, and last night this wasn't available to me. I was talking to Eleanor. I don't know if you're with us, Eleanor. Give us a wave if you are. About this, which is Twitter moments are available to everyone. And this morning I logged in and they're there, except it still wouldn't let me create one. So let's see how long until I can create one. Twitter moments are a bit like Storyfy, if you've ever used that. What you'll be able to do is, and this will be good for you, Beatrice, with the events, you'll be able to collate a number of tweets around a specific topic, curate them so that they tell a story, which means you'll be able to put them in a decent, significant order. I think this would be cool. I can't wait to get my hands on it. Hopefully I'll be able to create my first later on. If I do, I'll make sure I tweet it. Follow me at Spiderworking. The third bit of Twitter news is, I'm just going to go with Joanne's. Hey, Ellen. Joanne about the 360 videos says it'd be great for craft businesses where you can show your products in a variety of stages. Everyone loves craft rooms, even not non-business types. Yes, also perfect business places, restaurants, stop play. You're absolutely right, Joanne. I even think my messy office, it's not that messy. I think people might like to see it. I've done kind of little tours of it before, so you're absolutely right. Hey, Eleanor, I'm just going to go through the rest of the comments. Do we all want those Twitter trolls to vote? There's nice people on Twitter too, Sinead. There's nice people there as well. They're just a bit quieter, usually. Okay, so final bit of news, because I don't want to miss out my tool of the week, which is Boomerang. And do hang on just for a couple of minutes because I need to do Beatrice's book draw. Boomerang. Boomerang is an add-on for Gmail. And what it does is, if this is you, sometimes I work late and I shouldn't be working late, but I am working late. And I see an email come in for a client and I go, oh, I'll just answer that. And then what happens is, one, they know I'm working late. And two, they think I'm going to respond to emails when they send them at that time of night. Not good. What Boomerang does is it lets you compose the email and send it later. I'm loving this. It means that I can get some of my emails out of the way in the evening if I happen to be working late without people knowing. It's a really, really good one. Boomerang. Looks like a boomerang. Coloured like a boomerang. I heard about it a long time ago. Massive, massive fan now. Okay, I have two things left to do. One of them is to draw the winner of Beatrice's book. Yeah, Laura, it is absolutely amazing. Love this. Apparently, Facebook's telling me this is my most commented on live video yet, so thank you, everyone. Okay, I have all the names in this hat here. This is what you're going to win. Beatrice is going to send it to you, so I will be in touch. I just want to show you the photo of what you could have won. What you could have won. Here we go. Trending by Beatrice Whelan. It's a book about social media for events. And if you entered the competition, I know there's a few of you here that have. Haha! It's a local friend of mine, Robert Redmond. I know that's flipped for you, but Robert Redmond, I don't think he's watching, but I know he'll be delighted with a copy of your book, Beatrice. So congratulations, Robert. If you didn't win this time, there's something coming up. Not this week, but next week, I'm going to start a thread on the Facebook page giving away this book. Joanne, who is online at the moment and made some really good observations there, wrote this book, Crafting a Successful Small Business. And I'll be giving that away on my Facebook page, not this week, but next week. And before you go, I just want to let you know that if you're looking at your Christmas marketing campaign at the moment, I'm going to be sending out my next newsletter within the next 2 weeks, and it's going to be full of tips for creating your Christmas marketing campaign. And this, that's a picture of the tube station in London. What have I done? This, look at that, I managed to mirror image it. This is the link you need to follow to sign up for my mailing list. spiderworking.com/social snacks. You'll get some tips every week from me, my blog post by email, and once a month you'll get an in-depth newsletter that will help you with something. This month we're talking about Christmas marketing. Don't forget to swing over to the Facebook group if you want to chat some more. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.